This is How Officer Pat Saved the Whole Town on page 40 and 41 in the Horton and the Huggerbug and More Lost Stories book. Alright, ready? So, How Officer Pat Saved the Whole Town. The job of an officer of the police is watching for trouble and keeping the peace. He has to be sharp and he has to be smart and try to stop trouble before it can start. And that's why one morning, while out on his beat on the corner of Chestnut and Mulberry Street, he got kind of worried, Officer Pat, when his very keen eyes spied a very small gnat going buzz around the head of old Thomas the cat. Aha! Remember, Pat, I see trouble in that. If that gnat bites that cat, and he very might well, that cat will wake up, and he'll let out a yell. That's only small trouble, I know, but brother, one small bit of trouble will lead to another. The trouble with trouble is, trouble will spread. The yell of the cat will wake Tom, Tim, and Ted, those terrible triplets of Mrs. McGowan. And they'll yell, and they'll yell, and they'll wake the whole town. When the trouble gets started, it always starts more. Those kids with their racket and ruckus and roar will frighten the birds, and the birds will come flapping down Mulberry Street with a yipping and yapping. Once trouble gets going, it spreads just like fire. Those birds will scream towards Mr. McGuire, the fish market man, and he'll get such a scare. He'll toss that big codfish up and high in the air. Excuse me. That's the trouble with trouble. It grows and it grows. That fish in the air will land smack on the nose of that horse over there that belongs to Bill Hart. The horse will start kicking Hart's wagon apart, and pumpkins will bounce on the head of Jake Warner, who's fixing that hydrant down there on the corner. And once all those pumpkins start falling on Jake, he'll fall on his wrench, and the hydrant will break. There's no stopping trouble once trouble gets going. When hydrants get broken, the water starts flowing. The water will gush right on Miss Minarella. She'll think that it's rain and put up her umbrella, and that'll knock young Bobby Burke off his bike. He'll fall on the ladder of the house painter Mike, and house painter Mike, when he tumbles, will spill a bucket of paint on the head of Don Dill. And once it gets started, there's no stopping trouble. That splashing of paint will upset Miss Hubble. She'll drop all her dishes, they'll smash on the ground, and startle her dog. The poor frightened hound will jump on the horn of old horn tutor Fritz, and Fritz will fall backwards and scare driver Schmitz on his dynamite truck, almost out of his wits. And that dynamite truck, with its big load of blitz, will race toward the street, and oh boy, when it hits, the whole of this town will be blown to small bits. But lucky for us, down on Mulberry Street, good Officer Pat was awake and on his feet. And quick, the brave officer swung his big bat on the troublesome head of that troublesome gnat, and kept him from biting old Thomas the cat, and stopped all the trouble before it began. He saved the whole town. What a very smart man. The end. Alright, the last one's really short, so I'm going to just add it to this one. This is the Hoobub and the Grinch on page 52. Which is right after what we just read. So, the Hoobub was laying outdoors in the sun, the wonderful, wonderful, warm summer sun. There's nothing, he said, quite as good as the sun. Then up walked a Grinch with a piece of green string. How much? Asked the Grinch. Will you pay for this thing? You sure ought to have it. You'll find it great fun, and it's worth a lot more than that old-fashioned sun. Huh? Asked the Hoobub. Sounds silly to me. Worth more than the sun? Why, that surely can't be. But it is, grinned the Grinch. Let me give you the reasons. The sun's only good in a couple of short seasons. For you'll have to admit that in the winter and fall, the sun is quite weak, and not strong at all. But this wonderful piece of green string I have here is strong, my good friend, every month of the year. Even so, said the Hoobub, I still sort of doubt, but you know, yapped the Grinch, and he started to shout that sometimes the sun doesn't even come out. This marvelous piece of green string, I declare, can come out of your pocket if you keep it there any time, day or night, any place, anywhere. Said the Hoobub. That would be quite handy. This piece of green string, yelled the Grinch, is a dandy. That sun, let me tell you, is dangerous stuff. It can freckle your face and make your skin rough. When that sun gets too hot, it'll broil you like fat. But this piece of green string, sir, will never do that. This piece of green string is colossal, immense. And to you, well, I'll sell it for 98 cents. And the Hoobub, he bought. And I'm sorry to say that the Grinches sell Hoobubs such things every day. There you go. The end. That one was kind of weird. Alright.